Mola Show track, the steep slalom hill. Skiers right, just above the village of Montana. Top 30 will now go in reverse order. In fact, there are only 30 who made it to the bottom of the Super G. So everybody who raced in the Super G now involved in the reverse 30 for the slalom. And there's plenty of Swiss interest here. Michelle GISIN, HOLDENER, Jasmina, SUTER, all involved. Wendy Holdener is the best of the Swiss after the Super G in 12th position. She's got a chance of making the podium. The race is underway. 38 control gates, so a shortened slalom, single run of slalom to conclude this final Alpine combined of the World Cup season for the women. And the second this weekend. Friday's instalment was won by Federica Brignone. And this, to kick things off, is Barbara Kantorova from Slovakia, 30th after the Super G. A little cautious here, certainly not the fireworks we'll see from the slalom specialists, who will start a little later. For example, Holdener and Shiffrin, of course, who's poised to potentially strike for a World Cup win today. Mikaela Shiffrin had a stunning Super G run and lies in 7th position after the Super G this morning. And she's only 1.3 off the pace of Sofia GOGGIA. So Shiffrin very well positioned to take the win today. The lead currently with Barbara Kantorova, combined time, so that's Super G time added to slalom time, 2 minutes 13.70. Next to go, Pavla Klichnarova from the Czech Republic, 29th after Super G action this morning. 31st on Friday. So she's going to improve on that, whatever happens, with only 30 in this second run now. 1:41.2 is the time they're chasing, midway down, trailed by half a second. Again, you can see that it's a steady, rather cautious, conservative slalom style that's being employed here by Klichnarova. It will get better as the race unfolds and the more accomplished slalom skiers take their turn. It's all a bit skidded and laboured here. Almost done. She'll be a long way off the pace, 2:15.36. So Kantorova remains in top position for Slovakia as Klichnarova hits the deck. We saw some blood on the hill this morning. Haven't heard any news about Nina Ortlieb's injury, whether it was a broken nose or a nasty gash on her face of some kind, but she hit the snow really hard and there was blood all over the race course this morning. Nasty moment. Katerina Paulatova now from the Czech Republic. Half a second faster than the current leader Kantorova after the Super G this morning. Certainly not seeing any fireworks yet from any of the slalom skiers. Paulatova the best of them so far, with an advantage of nearly a second now. We're going to have to wait a little while until we see Michelle GISIN come down 11th in the starting order before we see some real live slalom, live wire slalom skiing. Although it looks as if Katerina Paulatova will do enough to take the lead, quite comfortably, I think, by the time she crosses the line. Paulatova into top spot here, 1.93, and into first position after a Super G run and a single run of slalom. It's the final World Cup Super Combined, Alpine Combined race of the season. And the Crystal Globe will be won and lost today, with Ilka Stuhec leading the standings on 180. Federica Brignone next best on 140. Kiergasser's out, she's on 105, and Holdener is 4th on 100. Next to race, Candace Crawford from Canada, decent slalom skier. Had a good Super G session this morning, 22-year-old. And a 2200ths of a second lead at the split. Accelerating through the verticality, through the vertical gate, set down the face of the mountain. and trebling her advantage as a result. It's good skiing from Crawford. The lead likely to change rapidly and regularly now as the faster skiers from later in the start list come down to make their slalom challenges. 2:11.77 is beaten by 0.89. Candace Crawford into top spot for the Canadian team. So 4 down, 26 left to ski. Crawford leads for Canada. POPOVIC now second for the Czech Republic, with KANTOROVA in third for Slovakia. That's the start hut. And next to go, the Croatian youngster, Leona Popovic, who's only 19. Reasonable slalom skier, decent all-rounder in the World Cup racing. Making her 15th World Cup start today, so slowly but surely gaining experience. Croatians still looking for somebody to pick up the mantle of the Kostelic siblings. Leona Popovic is struggling, I think, to match Crawford here. She's a tenth of a second behind. 18th in Friday's version of this race, the first of the two combined events held this weekend. I don't think she'll be improving on that. Needs a fast finish, letting them run here, almost tripped up, gets it done into second position. And Crawford remains as our leader in the early stages of the concluding part of today's combined. First of the Swiss next, it'll be Rahel KOPP, as the later starters form an orderly queue at the top of the hill. 5 Swiss in this second run. First of them is Rahel KOPP, just 22 years old, and pushing out of the start and into the pattern of gates, which has been set for this course by one of the French coaches. Half a second the lead KOPP brings with her, but these are not world-class slalom turns at all, and she's going to be behind, or she will be at the next intermediate. Anyway, 900 still in front, as KOPP just about gets away with it so far. 300's down now. Skidding at the end of the turn, but absolutely determined to finish, and she'll get a huge welcome. We do get an enthusiastic band of supporters in Crans-Montana. They love their ski racing in these parts. And KOPP is home and dry into second position, 300ths of a second behind. Crawford holds on. Near miss there for Rahel KOPP. Skied the bottom section a lot more convincingly than she did the top. You can see it's pretty soft underfoot, and the course will cut up quite quickly. Now Patrizia Dorsch from the German team. 24th after Super G this morning. Decent lead over Candace Crawford of just under half a second. So scope for improvement here for Dorsch. 0.14. Still in the green zone. Now she's coming on to the flatter part of the course. The steep top section of this hill is proper scary. There are plans to make this into what's been described as the strife of the Women's World Cup, this mountain. They've spent an awful lot of money developing it so far, and they hope that it will host the 2025 World Championships, possibly the Olympics soon after that as well. Patrizia Dorsch into 5th position. Candace Crawford still leading the way. Mikaela Shiffrin, the one to watch, having skied an excellent Super G leg this morning. Sits 7th after that, and will be one of the favourites to win. And I've said this morning that Mikaela Shiffrin was heading back to Colorado, but she is in fact going to Korea on a flight out of Milan this evening with Lindsey Vonn. Both of them are heading to Korea. I'm not sure that Shiffrin will race downhill next week in the Olympic test event. She'll probably race Super G, but she will inspect the downhill, and she plans on getting acquainted with the technical courses, which are on a different mountain. Yongpyong holding the technical events, and Yongsan hosting the speed events and the combined. So different mountains to become familiar with for the athletes next week. Next on course here is Marlene Schmotz from Germany. 1900ths in front, had a healthy lead coming into this slalom leg of 0.63. It's down to 0.19 now. Can she hold on? Time to beat 2:10.88, and she's got it by 1100ths. New leader in Crans-Montana. It's the German Marlene Schmotz who moves into first position here. Crawford now pushed to second, KOPP in third. It will all change with the slalom specialists waiting to unload at the top of the course. Next up, Ramona Siebbenhofer. Disappointed with her Super G run this morning. Her body language was one of somebody who'd failed after her Super G run this morning. Let's see if she can turn it on in the slalom leg now. 500ths of a second the lead she has over Schmotz. That, I think, has been increased to 1200. Steady start for Ramona Siebbenhofer of Austria. 22nd after the Super G this morning, a bit back-seated there, but managing to keep this run alive. A third of a second down at the second intermediate. Time to beat at the finish, 2 minutes 10.77. And I'm not sure that's going to happen for Siebbenhofer. She's missed the target. She's gone fifth. 0.83 of a second behind. Michelle Gisin's turn is approaching. Next to the Swiss to go, there'll be a trio of them, GISIN, Nufer and SUTER, and then a gap until Holdener comes down. Holdener potentially Switzerland's best chance of getting their first podium of the weekend.
Ready.
Next to go, number 26, Nicole DeLago from Italy, the 21-year-old, 24th on Friday. DeLago's lead very slight, just 700ths of a second at the top. All that has gone, and she's 0.31 down. 21st after the Super G this morning, Nicole DeLago. And the red light grows to 7/10. It's getting tough down there in the soft snow. Might be down to the grass soon if it carries on like this. There's not an awful lot of snow depth. Could do with a big dump. There is some forecast for the middle of the week. Let's hope that it delivers. Nicole DeLago has not delivered for the Italian team. She's 7th at the moment, but the Italians with plenty more chances to come. They've got the quickest skier after the Super G this morning, Sofia Goggia, and Federica Brignone, and Marta Bassino, and Elena Curtoni still to come. Plenty more opportunities for the Italians. So now a serious chance for Switzerland to take control of this race in the shape of Michelle Gisin. Silver medalist in the Alpine combined at the World Championships in St. Moritz. Let's see if she can turn it on here. 20th, only 20th after the Super G this morning. But you can see straight away that Gisin is a much more accomplished slalom skier than many of those who have gone before in this second leg of the combined. 1500ths her advantage, and she's turned that into a massive lead already. 0.56, hence the crescendo of noise at the foot of the mountain. Michelle Gisin keeps them carving despite the rut forming around the turning gates. If she stays on her feet, Gisin will put the Swiss in top spot, and it'll be interesting to see how long they can hold it, with 3 more Swiss still to come as well. Gisin skied solidly, accelerates for the line and demolishes the time of Marlene Schmotz by almost a second and a half. New leader in Crans-Montana. You don't need me to tell you that it's a Swiss leader. The World Championship silver medalist leads the way in the last World Cup of the season. Last World Cup combined of the season. Next to go, Prischke-Nufer of Switzerland. The way things stand with the points, Michelle GISIN is currently joint first in the World Cup standings as well in the combined chase for the Crystal Globe. Next up, Prischke-Nufer, another half-decent slalom skier, but not as decent as Michelle GISIN, and trailing by 0.76 and getting a bit tangled up on some of the steep turns. Will settle now as she reaches the flatter part of the course, but the damage is already done, and there will be no points today for Prischke-Nufer. Jasmina Suter next to go for Switzerland. Then it'll be Lena Dürr, KAPPAURER, Cook, Schneeberger, and then Holdener. Expect some fireworks from Wendy Holdener when she comes down. 19th in the start list for this second run. There's our current leader, Michelle GISIN. Next to ski, Jasmina Suter from Switzerland. Powerful start from Jasmina Suter. Didn't finish the slalom on Friday, having set a decent time in the Super G, so will be desperate to make it to the foot of the course and get the warm welcome that awaits. But she's already trailing by 0.36. GISIN leads for Switzerland. SCHMOTZ is second for Germany. Crawford remains in third for the Canadian team, as Jasmina Suter comes unstuck. Didn't miss a gate, came to a halt though, and will pay the price. She's going to be miles behind Michelle GISIN's time, so the Swiss skier will stay in top spot. How close can Jasmina Suter go? She's going to be a couple of seconds off, I would think. Yeah, 2.21, down in 7th right now. Well, this is where it unravelled for Suter. Hand down, brakes on, game over. GISIN leads, SCHMOTZ second, Crawford third. Next to go, another good slalom skier, Lena Dürr, who could mix things up a bit here, the German. Been a World Cup parallel slalom winner in the past. That was in the city event in Moscow, just prior to the Sochi Olympics, the season before, in fact. That was Lena Dürr's one and only World Cup success. She's got good slalom skills, though. Can she produce them when required? It's looking solid for Lena Dürr. She's almost doubled her lead between the start hut and the first split time, and then she's down. Oh, and takes out the timing as well, so there'll be a break now while that is replaced and repaired. And Lena Dürr is hopefully okay. Looked like a fairly innocuous fall. I think she should probably pick herself up and ski away. Bruising, I would hope, would be the worst she's suffered, but you can never really tell. No obvious twists of knees and arms. Michelle GISIN watching on. And Lena Dürr is okay and off at the side of the hill. So we might not get that intermediate time now for a little while until it's repaired, but they will hopefully send Elisabeth KAPPAURER on her way. 16th after the first run, Elisabeth KAPPAURER. 22-year-old Austrian, 11th on Friday. Excellent result. Let's see if she can back it up and maybe push for an even better World Cup position today. Potentially another personal best up for grabs here for Elisabeth KAPPAURER. 1800s. She's the wrong side of Michelle GISIN's time, but she's skiing quite decent slalom turns with a wide modern stance at the bottom of the mountain. Crouched low over her skis and powering towards the line to go into second position. It's a good result for Elisabeth KAPPAURER. She's happy with that. Unable to topple Michelle GISIN, but into provisional second, halfway through the second stage of today's Alpine combined. 15 down, 15 to go. Michelle GISIN there with one of her teammates, one of her fellow Swiss racers. I'm not sure if that's Nufa or Jasmina Suter. But the crowd are hoping that Michelle GISIN stays in top spot for a little while longer. 3 to go, and it'll be the turn of the best of the Swiss, the best chance for the Swiss, Wendy Holdener. She'll be starting 19th in the running order for this second run, and the action continues on the other side of this break. In Crans-Montana, next to ski will be Stacey Cook of the United States. Had a decent Super G run this morning, Cook into 15th position. But not known as a slalom technician at all. So we'll see what Cook brings to this combined slalom run. And it's all rather steady, as you would expect, from the 32-year-old from California. So she's not going to be threatening Michelle GISIN's lead. 0.66 down. And Cook, who's had a rather disappointing season, will be looking for World Cup points and a finish. Didn't finish on Friday, didn't finish yesterday either. And looks like she's absolutely determined to make it to the bottom of the mountain today and complete 2 runs of this combined in Crans-Montana. She'll be a long way behind the current leader, Michelle GISIN, and Cook has done it. 12th position right now. GISIN leads for Switzerland. Elisabeth KAPPAURER is second for Austria, and Marlene SCHMOTZ sits in third for the German team. Lauren Ross, another American, next to go. Wendy Holden is listening into instructions from the foot of the mountain. Getting guidance from coaches who are keeping an eye on the course. And back at the top, Lauren Ross is away. Again, another one who won't trouble Michelle GISIN's lead. Lauren Ross, half a second in front after the Super G stage this morning. Not a bad Super G run, actually, from Ross. Was hoping for better, but 14th, I think, was okay. Didn't start on Saturday, didn't finish the standalone Super G yesterday, and wasn't far off a medal in St. Moritz, Lauren Ross. In the downhill, when Lindsey Vonn took the bronze, Lauren Ross had one of her best ever results to finish in 5th position. Oh, she's down. Heavy crash from Lauren Ross. And she might have a bit of whiplash after that. Let's hope she avoids any collisions with any of the hazards at the side of the hill. Lauren Ross might have a stiff neck tomorrow after that one. Very unforgiving, the short slalom skis these days. They spit you out and down you go. Rosina Schneeberger will be next to go for Austria, and then it'll be the turn of Wendy Holdener as we build towards the climax of this combined competition. Holdener has taken her position in the start hut. Silver medalist at the, I beg your pardon, gold medalist in the combined at the World Championship, silver medalist in the slalom. Rosina Schneeberger, 13th after the Super G this morning. Schneeberger is a reasonable slalom skier, I would suggest, looking at her going through these first few turns. Will she trouble Michelle GISIN? I don't think so. 300ths behind. 6/10 was her lead at the top. See this so often. Classic example was the men's combined in St. Moritz when Luca Erni went from 30th to win it. Extraordinary after the downhill leg. Marcel Hirscher from 29th to place second, silver medal position for Hirscher. One of 3 medals he won in St. Moritz, a couple of golds in the technical events as well. Rosina Schneeberger getting a bit tied up at the bottom of the hill, but she's made it home in second. Reasonable performance from Schneeberger. Better than I expected, if I'm honest, but unable to topple Michelle GISIN. So GISIN leads for Switzerland with their best chance of victory today. Wendy Holdener next to ski. So the Swiss flags are flying proudly. Wendy Holdener about to edge forward into the start hut. World combined champion. World slalom silver medalist. Holdener on her way for the host nation. And straight into the pattern of gates. Onto the really steep start at the top of this mountain. Nice, gentle, effortless turns from Wendy Holdener. Brings with her a lead of 0.72. And that is reduced, but still a healthy 0.43 at the first intermediate. Holdener starting to get to grips now. The course is deteriorating rapidly. There's a real rut around the racing line. And she's added another tenth of a second. Up to more than half a second now for Wendy Holdener, who's starting to let them run and push and drive and accelerate towards the line. She will lead by 0.73. Switzerland first and second in Crans-Montana. A measured run from Wendy Holdener. Not quite the fireworks that we might have expected at the top, but it is seriously steep up there. But then here on the flats at the foot of the course, she found her mojo and was getting acceleration out of each and every turn through the softening snow. GISIN demoted, holds second. It's Holdener now in first position for the host nation. Now Maria-Therese Tveberg for Norway. 14th in the St. Moritz Alpine combined. Only has 700ths advantage over Wendy Holdener after the Super G, and I can't see that Tveberg can match Holdener in a slalom race, although she has done so far. I think once things sort themselves out and she comes off the steep, Holdener's prowess will become more evident as Tveberg now struggles to keep her rhythm and carve her line. 22-year-old Norwegian, 15th yesterday, 14th on Friday. Almost home now. Switzerland holding first and second, and now they've been split by Tveberg, who's gone into runners-up spot. Splits the Swiss. Holdener holds on to the lead. Tveberg has just skied into second. GISIN now third. 10 to go. Elena Courtoni will be next, and then it'll be the turn of Federica Brignone, the winner of Friday's Alpine combined. Courtoni first up for Italy. Four more Italians left to race. Courtoni, then Brignone, then Bassino, and last Sofia Goggia, the leader after the Super G. Let's see how Elena Courtoni does here. She's had a cracking couple of days of racing. 9th on Friday, then she was on the podium for the second time this season, finishing second in yesterday's standalone Super G. Not really a slalom expert, Elena Courtoni. Decent in Super G, giant slalom. Those are her stronger areas, but a straddle puts her out of today's combined. So Switzerland see off another one. Wendy Holdener keeps a hand on top spot. Elena Courtoni out of contention following the straddle round that blue. Now, Federica Brignone was the winner of Friday's Alpine combined. Can she back it up by taking the lead here in this final race of the weekend on this Sunday afternoon? Federica Brignone, 9th after the Super G. Friday's win was her first in combined, her third discipline where she's had success at World Cup level following victories in Super G and Giant Slalom in the past. 4 World Cup wins in total, and going nicely here, Federica Brignone. 0.97, her mother was a World Cup winner in slalom, Nina Cardio. I'm sure she's given Federica the benefit of her experience. certainly skied some of the best slalom I've seen from her on Friday to win that race here in Crans-Montana, and might be about to break Swiss hearts here by pushing Wendy Holdener out of top spot. She'll do it comfortably in the end. Terrific performance from Federica Brignone. Friday's winner leads on Sunday. 8 to go. The way things stand, Brignone will be the winner of the Crystal Globe for the Alpine Combined World Cup. But of course, there are others with eyes on the prize, including Ilka Stuhec, the leader in the standings prior to today's race, who will be the penultimate skier on the hill. Brignone leads the way for the moment, and it's a good lead as well. 84 hundredths of a second, with Maria-Therese Twieberg in third. Wendy Holdener now pushed down to second. So the fastest 8 racers to come: BASSINO, SHIFFRIN, HAASER, MOWINCKEL, VENIER, GAGNON, STUHEC and GOGGIA. Next. The final 8 in Crans-Montana, and amongst their number, Mikaela Shiffrin. She is surely in with a shout of winning this contest today. Next up, Marta Bassino from the Italian team. 8th after the Super G this morning. Bassino is a reasonable slalom skier, but has got to really turn it on to give Brignone a scare here. Brignone leads for Italy, Holdener second for Switzerland, Twieberg currently in third for Norway, and Marta Bassino, the 20-year-old Italian, is holding her own so far. Then a big skid sideways, and a lot of time was lost, and she may not finish at this rate. Living dangerously. A couple of near misses for Marta Bassino. She's managed to keep it together as the flatter part of the course arrives, and it looks as if she will finish the race, but she won't be troubling Federica Brignone's lead. Bassino into third currently, pushing Twieberg down a place. Italy first and third, Holdener between them. Next up, prepare for fireworks from Mikaela Shiffrin. She will aim to put this race beyond any reasonable doubt now. So Shiffrin's ready to go after a brilliant Super G ski this morning. She powers out of the start. The 21-year-old champion of the world for the 3rd time in St. Moritz. Oh, a little stumble there. Uncharacteristic mistake from Shiffrin. 35 hundredths the lead she brings to this slalom leg over Federica Brignone. Surely she's added to it. No, it's been halved after that mistake. But you would suspect that now she's settling into the rhythm of the course, Shiffrin will start to move it on up through the gears. 0.21, a little more time in the green zone for Mikaela Shiffrin. And now the flat part of the course arrives, and we'll expect Shiffrin to put her foot squarely to the floor here. Starts to really accelerate through the turns and eases across the line to lead by 7/10. Shiffrin into first. Will that be enough for the win? She'll have to see. Her slalom run began with a mistake, finished with a flourish. Let's see how it pans out now for Mikaela Shiffrin. This is where things started to look a little shaky. Went the long way round that blue. Got back on track quickly enough with a sharp, intelligent recovery. Shiffrin leads, Brignone second, Holdener now third. 6 left to ski. Marie-Michele Gagnon is the best of the slalom skiers left to go. Let's see how Ricarda HAASER fares. 23-year-old Austrian, good all-rounder. 9th in the St. Moritz Alpine Combined, has a healthy lead over Shiffrin coming into this slalom leg of 0.36. It's red now, though, 2 hundredths of a second down. Now, Ricarda HAASER, the way things stand, is potentially skiing for second position, but she can't afford to put the brakes on like that. And there was no gravity to save her because the course was just beginning to flatten out. and HAASER trails by half a second at split number 2. Needs to finish cleanly, Ricarda HAASER. The Austrian accelerates for the line. How close can she go? Good enough for third. Pushing Wendy Holdener off the podium, and hence the sigh. There will be no Swiss podium this weekend in Crans-Montana. Shiffrin leads, Brignone second, HAASER now third. Ilka STUHEC will be the last but one on the hill, and then it'll be Sofia Goggia's turn. She'll be the last to go. 5 left to ski. MOWINKEL, VENIER, GAGNON, STUHEC and Goggia. And they're lining up ready to race for the final time this weekend. Ragnhild MOWINKEL, 24-year-old Norwegian, regular on the World Cup for half a dozen seasons now. 15th on Friday. Steady slalom start for MOWINKEL with a half-second lead over Shiffrin post Super G. That's been whittled down to just 0.12 of a second after the first 20 turns or so, and it's a little shaky at times from MOWINKEL as she puts the brakes on and trails by half a second now. I think the top 2 are probably safe. Can Ragnhild MOWINKEL get into third position for Norway? Time to beat 2:07.16. That won't be beaten, and MOWINKEL is down in 5th in the end. Another solid result for her. No change at the top. Shiffrin, Brignone, HAASER is the 1, 2, 3 with 4 left to ski. Last chance for Austria. Stephanie VENIER, World Championship silver medalist behind Ilka STUHEC in the downhill. Third in yesterday's Super G and 4th quickest after the Super G run this morning. Stephanie VENIER, as you can see, is no great shakes as a slalom skier. She's able, but certainly not threatening towards the top positions on the leaderboard right now. 0.7 of a second down. So Shiffrin's lead is safe. Brignone will be unworried in second. HAASER is third. In fact, top 10 places are secure now after Stephanie VENIER has put the brakes on. I don't think she'll mind too much. This was never a race she would have expected to win, but she has had an outstanding season and is one to watch in the concluding weekends of the World Cup and at the World Cup finals in Aspen. She's 22nd right now. But a weekend to remember on the podium yesterday in the Super G. So Shiffrin in conversation with Brignone. They're first and second. HAASER is third, best of the Austrians. We have 3 left to ski. Next up will be Marie-Michele Gagnon, who's won 2 World Cup Alpine combines in her time. The 27-year-old Canadian will be next to ski. And those are her skis. Staring down the hill, number 11. Gagnon, ready to go. From Mont Orignal on the east coast of her home country. And off into the pattern of gates. Brings with her a commanding lead over Shiffrin after the Super G of almost 3/4 of a second. Course is really rapidly cutting up now, and Gagnon's advantage has been almost sliced in half. 4/10. Negotiating the steep part of the course sensibly enough, but it's into the red zone for Gagnon. And remember how fast Shiffrin was on the bottom third of the track. I'm not sure the Canadian has the technical ability to match the American here. 2:07.16 looks like being safe. Shiffrin leads the way still. Gagnon is third. And with 2 to come, that means that Mikaela Shiffrin is guaranteed a place on the podium. Gagnon third for the moment. Brignone in second. Shiffrin still leading with just 2 to come. Ilka Stuhet's next. Ilka Stuhet leads the World Cup Alpine combined standings coming into this race. 40 points clear of Federica Brignone. If she fails to finish, Brignone will be the World Cup champion in the Alpine combined. Let's see how she does here. Ilka Stuhet didn't finish the second run of the Alpine combined in St. Moritz. She didn't mind though, because she took the gold in the down. But only just 0.12 of a second. A little mistake there. I think Shiffrin's lead is probably safe. The aim now for Stuhet is to finish ahead of Brignone. Can she do that? She's third. She's third, and that's enough to give Stuhet, potentially, depending on what happens now with Sofia Goggia, the World Cup title. Goggia holds a lot in her hands now. Stuhet's into third. Brignone's guaranteed another place on the podium. Little stumble there from Stuhet, who now, the way things stand, sits on 240 points in the race for the combined globe, with Brignone in second. Wendy Holdener currently in third on 140. Let's see how it unfolds. It's all down to Goggia now. Last skier on the hill. Brignone could finish no worse than third. Shiffrin could finish no worse than second. Can Goggia produce the slalom run of her life now and make this happen? Her advantage over Mikaela Shiffrin after the Super G is 1.3 seconds. This is her weakest discipline. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But you never quite know what you're going to get from Sofia Goggia. She had an outstanding Super G run this morning, and so far these are looking like half-decent turns from the Italian, who's never won a World Cup race. No one would begrudge her after all her near misses. A little trip, she's kept it together, and she's lost the lead. 21 hundredths behind. Sofia Goggia, almost unstuck, somehow manages to force her way down the course and continue on her way. Will she finish? Will she finish in the top three? Goggia of Italy, last to ski in Crans-Montana this weekend, is 8th in the end. And Ilka Stuhet is the champion of the Alpine combined for 2017. Mikaela Shiffrin wins the final race in Crans-Montana, with Brignone in second. First and second in the two combined for Federica Brignone. Another near miss for Sofia Goggia, but I am convinced that her time will come. So Mikaela Shiffrin doing what we suspected she might, moving up from 7th after the Super G this morning to take the win and to seal another 100 World Cup points and stretch her lead over Ilka Stuhet, who finishes third. Brignone second, double celebrations for Stuhet. She's third today and takes her first ever World Cup Crystal Globe. So we'll grab a quick break, and when we return, we'll reflect on the conclusion of today's race, on the standings, on Stuhet's globe, and everything else. 28 victories in her 100 World Cup outings. She's taken the Alpine combined today ahead of Federica Brignone, who won on Friday, and Ilka Stuhet, who seals the Alpine combined World Cup globe for 2017. Gagnon in 4th, then HAASER, Holdener and MOWINKEL, as the weekend of racing, Friday, Saturday and Sunday here in Crans-Montana, comes to a conclusion. Yeah, 26 finishers in the end. The 4 that didn't make it: Courtoni, Ross, Nufa and Dieu. So we're going to check on the standings now as well. looking up towards the jagged peaks of the Swiss Alps. Mikaela Shiffrin now leads the overall over Ilka STUHEC by 298 points. It's tough to see that Shiffrin can lose the overall title. They've got downhill and Super G in Korea next weekend, then GS and Slalom the following weekend in Squaw Valley in California, and then the World Cup finals. Shiffrin will race in most of those events. STUHEC will probably race in all of them as she attempts to close the gap. She will console herself with her first World Cup globe. She's taken the Alpine combined. She will almost certainly add the downhill title to everything else she's achieved this season. But the overall title, I suspect, will elude her for 2017. Well, Mikaela Shiffrin's fan club delighted. 29 World Cup wins from 100.